What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. You know, I go around the planet trying to find the best people on it so you can grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. I found somebody, y'all. I found somebody. Her name is Victoria Jenn Rodriguez. She is a master mindset and business coach. She's the founder of Dare to Leap Academy, the host of Victoria Jenn TV, and the founder of the Female Collaborative. I love that. It's a nonprofit focused on revolutionizing the way the women work and do business together. Hello. You know that this is what this is about. I love working with women, Victoria. And I also want to congratulate you for being named in Women of Business as the #1 Latina entrepreneur smartly disrupting corporate America and teaching women how to gain economic freedom at the same time. Girl, I'm proud of you. How are you?
I am fabulous. Thank you so much for that love. I really
Good.
appreciate it.
Oh, that's just freaking awesome. I love that. I love seeing women rise. I love watching women win. And mostly, I love us working together. Like for me, it's never about competition, it's about uplifting. And so it's beautiful the work that you do. So before we get all into the nitty gritties of who Victoria is, tell us a little bit more about who you are.
Okay. So let's see. Who am I? I am born and raised in New York, Queens. So I am a Queens girl. You might hear that New
Georgia.
York accent come through. Big time daddy's girl. So I'm obsessed with my dad. He is
That's
my best
awesome.
friend. Live in New Jersey now. Have been here for going on 6 years, but I always have to make the distinction that I'm from New York, not New Jersey. Okay. Uh,
Right.
And let's see, 4 sisters, 1 brother. I was in corporate for 15 years, and 5 years ago, I decided to bet on myself, do my own thing. And 5 years later, I have 3 healthy 6-figure businesses, an amazing nonprofit, and get to really be the architect of my life and my legacy.
Awesome. But let me ask you though. So what made you get in? What made you actually leave corporate America? Right. So there's always like this pivoting point in our life where we just like, yeah, I can't do this no more. Right. So what was that for you? What did that for you?
So it's interesting because when you hear a lot of stories, usually it's I had a boss or they didn't respect me or they didn't see me. And for me, I love corporate. Corporate and I had an amazing relationship. I was
Right.
traveling on their dime, staying at 5-star hotels. Like I was good, had all the benefits, making my 6 figures. I was good. But what brought me to entrepreneurship was I had gotten laid off, and this was maybe my third time getting laid off. But even after that, I was still going on interviews and I was still, planning to stay in corporate. And what was happening was I was going on interviews, making it to final rounds and not closing. And I'm a
Mm,
closer. So for
mhm.
me, it was like, what the hell is going on? And I started feeling away. And then at the last interview I went on, it was at that moment that I was like, you know what, universe, God, you trying to tell me something? Let me pay
Right.
attention. Let me do me and see how far I could get. At the time, I had a healthy savings. I had nothing to lose. I was single, no kids. So I didn't have really any excuses to not try and see what I can accomplish. So that's how I tapped into entrepreneurship. It was never like a dream. I didn't go through something traumatic in corporate that made me feel like I needed to do my own thing. It was really God tapping me
Right.
on my shoulder, like, "What you gonna do, boo? You
Right.
gonna make this happen? What you
Right.
gonna do? Because I'm not giving
Right.
you time. We not closing this. You gonna do this." So that's
Right. No, that's awesome. I love that your story is like that too, because there's a lot of women out there that struggle with that, right? Like they do love what they do, and like for me, and for instance, I'm a director. I love what I do, and I do this as well, and I have a coaching business. I love doing all of it though. That's just
Mhm.
it drives me, right?
Right.
And I think it's good for women to hear you say that because you don't always have to hate what you do to try to go for that thing that's in you, right? So that's pretty cool that you did that. And I love that you have that story because not everything has to be so dramatic, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. And for
that's
anyone that's
good.
listening, because I don't know, I go through this and I'm like, I was blessed to have, a really dope upbringing because of my father. Like I was sheltered in a lot of ways. And so for me, I don't have any of these truly traumatic stories of
Good.
of triumph in the sense of what we're used to hearing
Mhm.
and seeing. And so for anyone out there who's like me and you're like, I don't have any of these drama stories, you know? I'm just
Right.
doing me out here. You're not alone. And you don't need a super dramatic experience in order for people to appreciate your journey or be able
Right.
to relate to your journey.
That is so good. And I really, really do love you said that. I have had an opposite, right? My story is very traumatic, had a lot of trauma in it, whatever. But I connect with you too, Victoria. Like I watch your stuff, I listen to, your Instagram and all that kind of great stuff. And you bring a lot of amazing stuff to the table. And it doesn't even matter to it never mattered to me whether you had a dramatic past or not. So I want, especially all you women listening, because I know there's a lot of women listening, you don't need that kind of story. And I think that that's kind of like the false thing that, we get out of social media, right? That everybody has to have like this dramatic story, but that's not really the case, right? Do you find that as well?
I do find that, and I feel like there's this pressure that unless
Mhm.
you have this story, like people are not going to be able to connect or you're not going to be able to stand out. And
Right.
so it's almost like I wonder if some of the stories I hear are even true
True,
because I'm like,
right?
wait, that sounds a little bit intense. Um, but I can understand because I felt it myself. I felt the pressure. Like, what am I gonna tell these people? Like, how are they gonna relate? How are they gonna feel me on this? But there's a way to connect with people on a human level
Right.
without you having to have experienced something traumatic. And like, listen, if you haven't had that type of experience, that's a blessing. Like, own that
Exactly.
blessing. Don't feel
Exactly.
like, you're not strong or you're not resilient because you haven't experienced
Right.
something traumatic. Like, it's a blessing. Use that as your story and use that as your light to help people who have been through something traumatic get through because they see you and they're like, oh wow, there is other possibility. There is peace. There is
Mhm.
another way of thinking and living, and you can be that example.
Right. And you're also not your story, right? So even if you have gone through the drama or haven't, you're not your story. You're what you create, right?
Yes, I love
So
that.
that is beautiful. And I know that that's something that you really focus on is that mindset. And I think you're called the imposter syndrome or the imposter killer,
Yeah.
right? So I want to know a little bit about that because that's a true moment. Right, Victoria, when you're sitting there and you're about to bring your stuff out to the table and you're like, oh, shoot, what do I talk about? And does anybody even want to hear what I have to say? And that's a real thing, right?
Mhm.
So talk to me a little bit about that. Like, what got you into wanting to face that monster and teaching others to do that?
Well, when imposter syndrome became a buzzword, I was like, "What is this? What is this imposter
Right?
syndrome?
Yeah, I did
What
the
is it?"
same.
And I started doing some research, and 70% of professionals experience imposter syndrome at least 3 times in their lives. And for women and women of color, that number triples, right? And I could see so many times in my career where I was experiencing imposter syndrome, but I made a decision
Mhm, mhm.
to not let it deter me and actually use it as a learning opportunity and to make something happen. But I know that not everyone is like me. And I understand if you're the
Right.
first one, if you're the only one, how difficult that can be to break out your shell. Let's say you're an introvert, or let's say you come from a culture where you are taught, a lot of women of color are taught to put your head down, do the work, you'll get recognized, or play in the shadows. You don't want to
Mhm,
be out in
mhm.
the front. And I just never been that way. When when I was in corporate, my reviews were all the same. Okay. It was always like, oh, Victoria's great. She's an asset to the team, but she's too much. She needs to tone it down.
Just too much.
And
I love it.
that always sat with me. And I'm like, tone it down. Like, I'm trying to tone it all the
Mhm,
way
mhm,
up. Like, what?
mhm.
Turn it down. But
Right.
I remember in those interviews feeling away, like, am I too much? Like, how do I turn it down? And that is my blessing, right? That is why God instilled this confidence in me and allowed me to kind of be this example where people can see, no, you can be turned all the way up. You can live out loud. You can be full of vibrancy. You can rock your curls to the office. You can have your accent, and you can still get respect, and you can still make money, and you can still succeed by literally being who you are and
Mhm.
remaining authentically true to who you are. And
Absolutely.
so it was those type of experiences that made me feel like this imposter syndrome just spoke to me. Like me and imposter syndrome, like I kill it all the time.
Right.
So
Right,
I want
right.
to teach women how to do that too. And so I created a framework around it so that people knew how to prepare, people were able to identify it, and then most
Mhm.
importantly, people knew strategies and techniques that they could use to mitigate it.
That's awesome. And I get that a little bit too on my reviews too. Like, okay, you need to be nicer, not so forward. I'm like, that's just who I am. I don't know if that's the Latina in me. I don't
It's
know, but that's just
definitely
who
La
I am.
Latina in you. You know, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Connecticut. My family's from Puerto Rico. So
Oh,
how
that's
about
I'm
you?
Boricua, mama. I'm
Yeah,
Boricua as well. So that's what it is. Like this is ingrained in us. Like we're
right,
used to like dancing in the street. Like that's
right,
what we do, you know?
right.
It's part of
That's
our
so funny.
culture. And
I love
so
it. I
that
love
is a
it.
competitive advantage in my opinion.
Mhm.
And so it's just a matter of when in Rome, doing as Romans do,
Right,
but
right,
understanding how to play the game while
right.
still remaining true to who you are is the key, and I think is the main reason why a lot of women and women of color in particular are struggling in corporate because they
Mhm,
just don't see themselves there
mhm, mhm.
because they're not seeing themselves at all. So how
Right,
can you expect other people to see you when you don't even see you? And that's
right.
why that inner work is so important, and it really starts with you.
What's really amazing, and I'm sure you found this even when you were in corporate, is that as you're a woman of color and you're in these boardrooms or wherever you are,
Yeah.
I realized that the more I became authentically me, first of all, the more respect I gained, but also it was kind of interesting too to see how people of extreme wealth and everything else would come to me like to me directly because they needed to discuss something privately or they needed to pour out their heart about something or they wanted a strategic view on this. And it was just like the more authentic you can be with you, the more authentic you are, people will step up to your plate. You don't have to bow down to theirs. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is a beautiful thing and it's energy, right? And so people
Yep.
are intrigued by energy. I have
Yeah.
so many people come to me and they're like, you know, I wish I could be as vocal as you. I wish I could be as brave as you. And it's like, hey, I'm being the change I want to see. I
Mhm.
give other women permission to do you,
I love
right?
it. Mhm.
And that is my purpose. That is my gift. But regardless if you have these examples around you, ultimately, each of us has to decide I'm going to own my life. I'm going
Mm.
to do this my way. I'm going to live life on my terms. And you will realize at some point in your career that it takes so much energy for you to pretend to be somebody that you're not.
Exactly.
Imagine what would happen if you funnel that energy into being who you are and focusing on something you want to bring to life for growing a project, growing a business, or becoming a better friend, a better spouse, whatever it
Mhm.
is. It's liberating when we finally get to that point in our lives where we can be like, I'm done trying to appease everybody else. I'm going to do this my way
Right.
and see how it goes. Like that to me is freedom.
It is. It's complete freedom when you could be you. You don't have to pretend I'm being anybody. I love that. So I want
Right.
to talk to you about that because you started your own business, like you really launched out there, and you have a lot of things going on. So I would like to touch on what a few of the thousands of things that you do.
Yeah,
So
let's do it.
I want to talk to you about the Dare to Leap Academy.
Yes.
Where did that come from, and what do you do there?
Yes, that is my new baby. So the Dare to Leap Academy was launched late last year. And I launched it because I found that, when I became an entrepreneur, I was the first one in my family to do it. I had no
Mm,
mentors, no advisors. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And a lot of what I learned came about because I didn't know what I didn't know. And I
right,
paid for
right.
it, whether in time, energy, tears, money. And I decided that I wanted to take all of my intellectual property, all of my mistakes, all of my wins, all of my learnings, and put it in a central depository where anyone who joined the academy would literally have a step-by-step process that they could follow to successfully make the transition from corporate or 9 to 5 into entrepreneurship and or create multiple streams of income for themselves. So the Dare
Great.
to Leap Academy really speaks to women who are already working for somebody else that wants to make the transition and they need a plan for that exit, and or women who have already started their business and they're looking to scale, specifically by doing business with corporate and government agencies. So that B2B piece, right?
Okay.
Which is, and this is the last point, which is something that I learned in my journey. And I'll share a quick story with you because
Yeah.
they all come together, right? So I would say maybe half a year into my journey, I went to this invite only Latino, shout out to the Latino Hive, this event that they had in Napa. And I ended up meeting a mentor there. He's a consultant and he put me on game that, you know, he was doing business at the corporate level and he got paid 6 figures to do like a 4-month project. And I was like, wait, hold up. How much?
Hold up a second.
And I'm out
What'd you
here
say? What'd you say
struggling.
up
I'm
here?
like, wait, how'd you do that? So he literally sat down with
That's
me,
awesome.
put me on game. And ever since then, now I get corporate contracts all the time. And this is something that women don't think about. They don't think about, oh,
Right.
how can I
Right.
sell my expertise to corporate? Is there opportunity for me there? So a key differentiator of the Dare to Leap Academy is that piece, is how to go after that corporate money. So you're not going after the crumbs and you're going after the cake.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really fantastic. And not something many people think about, right? Because when they think about their own business, they think they're going to do this alone, or they're going to do it like a one-on-one, or they're going to do that kind of stuff. But corporate is where the money is. And you know, corporations, for those of you who either work at one or don't know, usually have a set of money set aside for all of these type of programs, right? So
Absolutely.
that's really, really smart, Victoria. Like you're giving them something that they can actually tap into, because I know that one of your things is to make sure that they have that economic freedom, right? So
Absolutely.
that's a beautiful thing that you're doing with them. I love that, and I love the angle that you're taking. That's really fantastic, really. And then
And
I
in
know
addition,
that.
yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Going to say, in addition to doing business at the corporate level, I teach you about getting certified, right? Because now you get a whole
Mm,
different type of opportunity if you're a woman and minority owned business, if you're a woman business enterprise, like
mhm.
that type of education. A lot of folks do not have. I didn't have it. And so I worked harder instead of smarter. And so the Dare to Leap Academy is literally an acceleration process for you to learn what you need to learn as soon as possible. You pay me because I already did the research. I already made the mistakes.
Right,
I already did everything.
right,
You're paying me to accelerate your curve so you can get there faster than me, right? So you
right.
can get there right away and you can plan strategically and with intention so that you're moving smart, right?
Mhm,
Instead of
mhm.
just gone with the wind fabulous, trying to wing it,
Yeah.
overwhelmed, stressing yourself out, creating unnecessary anxiety. And
Mhm.
literally, you have this one-stop shop in the Dare to Leap Academy, and we focus on mindset, business fundamentals, sales, and marketing. Like literally everything, one
That's
place.
fantastic. That's really great. And so is the Dare to Leap Academy part of like a video series and with you? Is it a one-on-one? Is it group? How do you run that?
Yeah. So the Academy is an online learning platform.
Mhm.
So there are pre-recorded modules that you would take, and you get weekly coaching from me. You get access to a community. There's
That's
several
awesome.
accountability measures that are built into the program, because one of the things I struggled with when I first started was it's you against you, baby. And if you don't
Yeah.
have an accountability partner, it's
So
very
true.
easy for you to just get lazy, for you to
Give
get
yourself
complacent.
permission. Mhm.
Yes, for you to procrastinate. And so I built
Love it.
in different accountability measures. So like it's like, nah, honey, what are you doing? What are you doing? I also
Right.
have your number. So if I need to call your ass, I'm calling you and be like, what
Right.
are you doing? What is happening with you over there? And
That's
that's the
fantastic.
benefit of being in a community like that, which is also
Yep.
something that I learned. Like I was alone and
Mhm,
I
mhm,
and it was lonely. Entrepreneurship is very lonely,
mhm.
especially if you're the first one, you're the only one, or if people just don't get it. There's nothing that anyone can relate to if they haven't experienced it themselves.
That's
And
true.
entrepreneurship is one of those things. Like, I'm sorry, if you've never ran your own thing full time, I can't get advice from you because you
Right.
just don't get it.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But you still need that village, right? You still
Absolutely.
need that village because it's really difficult. And for all you entrepreneurs out there, because I know there's a lot of you listening, you do need a village. Stop trying to do everything yourself. You don't know everything. If you have to hire an expert in website design, stop trying to do it yourself. You're wasting hours and hours, right?
Neena, let's talk about this because
Yeah.
ego. Oh,
Yeah.
the egos that I come across are just so, it's just so unsettling because, I've had to check myself, right? Because I thought I was the shit, right? I was in corporate 15 years. I was making money. I was like, I don't need to learn from nobody else. No. I had to humble myself all the way down because entrepreneurship is very much you being a student. And if you're smart, you know that you pay people to teach you what you don't know.
That's right.
And you pay people so that you can get where you're trying to get faster. But that requires you admitting that you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Google University, YouTube University,
Right.
you getting it out here because you're getting this information for free. You might get some steps, but honey, what you pay for is the strategy.
Right.
That's what you pay for. And that is the magic, right? That is the magic and the true essence of it all. But this ego will literally eat you alive and keep you broke and keep you stressed and keep you overwhelmed. It's ego and a scarcity mindset.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh
Yes.
my God, this scarcity mindset, like you'll be out here spend $2,000 to go fly to Mexico to stay at a hotel that you never stayed at, to be on a beach that you've never been at, but you won't pay that same $2,000 to a professional, an expert to teach you $10,000.
Right. Right. Because they don't think about investing in themselves. Yeah. Yeah. And I always say, you know what, listen, especially all of you ladies out there, like they could take away your car, they could take away your money, but they cannot take away your knowledge and they cannot take away your grit and your know-how. Like you got to really think about that. So if Victoria's program is speaking to y'all, what you sitting up in here waiting for? Go ahead and get in there. Like I always tell people, that stop, as soon as and I used to have that scarcity mindset back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to I'll pay a whole bunch of money for a car, but then as soon as you tell me I got to pay $5,000 for a program, I'm like, oh, but I just paid 25 grand for a car. I got over that. That is just not strategic at all, and it doesn't serve you. It just doesn't serve you. So
it doesn't. And if you think about our community and the music we listen to and Instagram, it'll make you feel like you need to keep up with the Joneses on a materialistic level. Like, oh, I have to have this house. I have to have this car. I have to have this bag. I have to have these shoes. I have to show myself traveling first class. And, your bank account is like, what are you doing? Like, I'm struggling here, boo. Like, hold on.
Right.
Why are you taking money out here? Or you'll put yourself in debt for these materialistic things. Like put yourself in debt for education. Like that's good debt, Like I talk to women, I get every excuse in the book because my program is a 4-figure investment. Like you're paying to get into this program, right? But I know that if you follow the steps, you'll get your investment back triplefold. I just had a student make 10 grand in less than 10 days. Like it's possible, you just got to put in the work. That's it. But yeah, I hear the excuses. I don't have the money, kids, timing. I don't know if I could really do it. The scarcity mindset piece, it's like excuse after excuse after excuse. And again, it all boils down to you getting to a point in your life where you have to decide, like, I'm done making the excuses and I'm just going to do, especially right now, the height of the recession, inflation. We are in very interesting times right now. And you need to make sure that you are being smart, but also giving yourself permission to explore and try new things and not allow the fear of what you see on CNN or your friends or whoever like make you feel like you don't have options. You always have options. The possibilities are limitless. You just have to take action. Nobody's gonna come to your door and save you, boo. It's just not gonna happen.
Right. And I think that, you're talking about that and what's on TV and the media and all that stuff. That's all. And I always tell my people this, like, that is all built to cause fear, right? Because fear is money. Fear for them is money, right? Fear for you is scarcity. So you need to realize that, listen, so what? There's a recession. Okay. But think strategically on how to get your money. Money's being printed every day, Victoria. There's money everywhere. Okay. It's just a matter of how you're gonna grab it, how you're gonna reach it. That's all that is. And it's people like you, Victoria, that I really do love to talk to and admire, because you are willing to go into the trenches with this person that is willing to work. Now I want to preface that is willing to work, because you have people pay for programs all the time and don't do nothing. Right? You have to be willing to put in the work if you're going to see, like you said, you're a student that just made 10 grand in less than 10 days. Why? She put in the work, right? She put in the work, but right. And that's the thing, Victoria, like, you took the time to build the program. All you're trying to tell people is just come and put yourself in the program. Let's just do what you got to do. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
And that's where, coaching comes in and all of that. But listen, I always say one of my favorite quotes is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. So I'll be on the phone with somebody, and if they're just excuse after excuse, I'm gonna be like, you know what? You're not a good fit for this program. Best of luck to you. I wish you all the luck. Take advantage of my free content, but this program is not for you. And everybody's on a different timeline and a different journey. And I appreciate that. But when you're standing in your own way, when you're afraid of your own greatness, and when you are just full of excuses. And listen, all of us are doing it scared. All of us are figuring it out as we go. All of us do not have all the answers, but what makes people who you admire and look up to different from you, the only difference is that they are doing.
Yeah. That's it.
They're taking action,
Literally.
Trying. They're doing it again after they fail. Like, listen, just 2 weeks ago, I lost 10 grand. Oh my God, it still hurts to say that out loud. I lost 10 grand.
I know.
It hurts because of the way that I lost it. But I remember, and I was so proud of myself, because I remember losing it. And I was like, you know what, V? God needed you to learn this lesson. So now go make it back triple fold. And I did. It was like fuel. It was like, I got to go make this money again. And it was like the fire under my ass. And I made triple that amount. Right. And so sometimes we need to be at a loss in order for us to get the motivation to go out there and kill it. So, like, listen, 100%. These mistakes, these quote unquote losses, they matter. I just lost a whole bunch of more money in crypto this morning. I looked at the damn.
Me too.
Oh my God,
girl.
Oh, shit. But you know what? I'm like, I gotta show up to this podcast again. Neena. I gotta drop these gems. I gotta keep it pushing.
Oh, I love it. I freaking love it. You are hilarious. I love it. It's true though. It is so true. So tell me really quick, because I know we're gonna get close to time, but I do want to know a little bit about your nonprofit.
Okay.
Because I think that's beautiful, and I love that you are like pouring in that way, in a nonprofit sort of way. So tell me a little bit about that.
So the Female Collaborative, the Female Collaborative was actually born my first year in business, and I was like, how do I make some money? How do I figure out what to do? Like, I need to bring in some more money. And so I knew that I could put on events, and I knew that I could create an experience. And so I invited these ladies that I met on social media to join me in putting together an event. And in 2 months, we put together the first annual Woman Who Wore Summit. We sold it out. We had women flying from around the country. And all the feedback was, oh my God, we were yearning for a space where we can be our unedited selves, check the BS at the door, where we could connect on a human level and then make some money and collaborate. And it was at that moment that I was like, oh, wait, hold up. This is something here. And that's how the Female Collaborative was born. And awesome. Given the consult that I got from some members, I decided to turn it into a nonprofit versus a for-profit. And since then, we have amazing corporate partners. We have over 6 dedicated corporate partners. We have our annual Woman Who Wore Summit, which is our signature event, a 2-day leadership program that
Awesome.
focuses on entrepreneurship, professional development, leadership development. And what I love about this network is it's both professionals and entrepreneurs. So I think it's so important for entrepreneurs to not only network with other entrepreneurs, like, because the
I agree.
professionals are the ones who's going to give you business. Like, you need
I
to be in
agree.
the room. And also the businesses need to know the entrepreneurs for supplier diversity and all this jazz. But most importantly, the network is really a space to teach women how to collaborate because we don't know how to do it. And cattiness gets involved, the BS gets involved, competition gets involved, and it's just a whole bunch of nonsense that I know can be discouraging because it's discouraged me.
Right.
So I wanted to create a space where we're able to show women, like, yeah, you're gonna have some hiccups. Like, it's not gonna be easy peasy, right? You're going to have conflict, you're going to have tough conversations, but that's a part of collaborations. That's how
That's
partnerships
right.
work.
Right.
And so really teaching you what to look out for, how to collaborate, which collaborations don't make sense, but most importantly, creating a space where, again, take off the mask, you come here
Right.
as yourself, let your hair down, come have a cocktail, girl. Like, let it out. Check the BS at the door, and let's get to this money.
Oh, so they're live. These are live events.
These are live events, yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's once a year?
Once a year, yes. Is our annual Woman Who Wore Summit. We have quarterly events as well. So we have something coming up in the summer and in the fall. But every year we have our annual Woman Who Wore Summit. So in 2023, we'll be doing our 5th one.
All right. That's
Yes.
amazing. Good for you. I love that. So I don't want to let you go, but I'm going to have to because you got to go to work.
Yeah,
So tell us a little bit about how everybody can get in contact with you, because I know everybody's listening to this is probably like, how do I work with her? So Victoria,
Yes.
tell me, like how they can find out about your summits and stuff, but also about working with you and your academy and all that stuff. So drop it for us.
Absolutely. So if you go to Victoria Jenn, JENN.com, literally everything is there. I
Okay.
also have a free resource there where you guys can get a free training that will show you the 3 steps you can take to make the transition from corporate to entrepreneurship, even if you don't know what business to start and have only one source of income. So that free resource is there, and I'm sure you'll put it in
Awesome.
the notes.
Yep.
On social media, you can find me at IAM Victoria Jenn, JENN, pretty much on all platforms. You'll be able to find me that way. And make sure you connect with me. Like, if you follow me somewhere, let me know that you heard about me from Straight Talk Podcast. Neena put you on. Like, let me know. Introduce yourself. I want to get to know you. You know, that's a part of networking and building relationships with people.
Yeah.
So definitely reach out. Let me know. Join the mailing list, all that jazz. And yeah, I can't wait to meet you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. This was super, super fun. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for being on here. Really
Yeah, my
grateful.
pleasure.
Grateful. And guys, thank you so much. As she said, I'm going to make sure to drop everything into the notes below because, I mean, come on now. Come on now. You guys know we always bring like amazing people on here, and she is quite amazing. So go ahead and follow her. I am on her list, actually her email list. So I get her emails all the time, and I love it. I love everything that she brings out here because it's all about uplifting you and giving you knowledge. And you know how we do around here. So make sure that you grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. Until next time.